I'm William Baker, and I'm coming to you from the Jane Sullivan Choral Resource Library at the William Baker Choral Foundation Center in Roland Park, Kansas. It is my privilege to serve as music director of the Summer Singers of Lee Summit. I come to you today to invite you to enjoy our 11th annual performance, a concert that we are calling Mozart and His American Contemporaries. The program will include Mozart's delightful Missa Brevis in D, and his beloved Ave Verum Corpus. Also on the program will be music created in America during Mozart's lifetime. William Billings, who was America's first choral composer, will be featured in 4 selections. There will also be 4 selections of music by the American Moravians, including works of Christian Gregor, John Antis, and Johann Christian Beckler. The concert will be Sunday, July 27th, 4:00 p.m. in the nave of the St. Paul's Episcopal Church, 416 Southeast Grand Avenue in historic Lee Summit, Missouri. The concert will be followed by a festive reception open to all. Tickets are available at the door or online from choralfoundation.org/concerts. I've always had a great affection for Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 1756 to 1791. Robert Shaw, who's featured in the painting behind me, called him probably the most literate composer in music history, because Mozart from his childhood traveled across the European continent concertizing with his sister. He encountered languages, traditions, customs to a degree that would rival most well-traveled moderns. Mozart's formidable genius was so extraordinary that it is almost impossible to exaggerate. He created his first composition at the age of 5, a minuet in G major, a first symphony at age 8, Symphony No. 1 in E flat, and a first opera at age 11. These accomplishments are so spectacular that it's hard to believe they're true, but indeed they are. The Missa Brevis in D, Kochel 194, that is our primary work this summer, was composed for liturgical use in Salzburg Cathedral in 1774, when Mozart was 18 years old. The Archbishop Colloredo insisted that music for his masses be brief, leading to a plethora of short masses composed by Mozart in various keys using a small ensemble of instrumentalists. This Missa Brevis in D is my favorite of that collection. Genius, however, is only a part of the Mozart story. When young Mozart and his beloved sister, Nannerl, revealed themselves as musical prodigies, their father began touring the children across Europe. It wasn't long before the children became the breadwinners of the family. In truth, Mozart never had a childhood, given that he faced adult responsibilities and performance expectations at a very tender age. Mozart adored his wife Constance and was never known to have been unfaithful to her on any occasion. When traveling, Mozart wrote to her almost daily with words of tender affection. Mozart was a man of simple, childlike faith. He did not show much interest in doctrinal questions, but his reverence for his creator was never questioned in any of his writings or actions, though he did struggle with the abuse of church authorities. Mozart was also a playful and loving father, more invested in the lives of his children than most 18th century men. One of the great tragedies of music is that Mozart's life ended at the age of 35. We can only imagine the wonders he would have created had he lived many more years. Likewise, America's first composer, William Billings, has never received his due, even now 225 years after his death. Almost entirely self-educated, his creative and entrepreneurial spirit was characteristic of the emerging new nation in the late 1700s. Billings was a patriot who exulted that he was creating, quote, American music for the sake of Americans. I am told that Paul Revere actually sang in the church choir Billings directed. His music has a sense of earthy elegance, a driving force of argument celebrating the human spirit and the cause of freedom that is at once playful and insistent. The Moravians who came to America in the 18th century brought their classical traditions with them as they settled in Pennsylvania and to a lesser extent in North Carolina. Music education, singing and the playing of brass, woodwind, and stringed instruments was considered a responsibility of general education and spiritual formation. John Antis, one of our featured composers, is credited by some with the building of the first stringed instruments in the colonies. The Summer Singers will perform 4 works by Moravian composers, including the antiphonal a cappella anthem Hosanna, followed by 3 selections for choir and orchestra. Sunday's performance of the Summer Singers of Lee Summit and Chamber Orchestra will be a diverse and joyful celebration of music from one of the choral arts' golden eras. Please secure your tickets now at choralfoundation.org/concerts. Again, the Summer Singers of Lee Summit and Chamber Orchestra with soloists Melissa Overton, Jennifer Lahaski, Sean Sweden, and Michael Hahn. Sunday, July 27th, 2025, at 4:00 p.m., St. Paul's Episcopal Church, 416 Southeast Grand Avenue in Lee Summit, Missouri. Tickets are available at the door or online at choralfoundation.org/concerts. May God bless you, and thank you for listening to my pitch.